Hello, I'm Svitek, and this is my weekly vlog. Now, the intent, if you're just joining for the very first time, is not to just talk about my life and things like that. That will happen, obviously, but it's also to take what I'm doing and illustrate a lot of the things that I talk about and try to teach, so it's essentially my teachings in practice within my own life. And also to extract other stuff that perhaps, I haven't been teaching and I might come up with epiphanies during the week. So a large portion of last week that I was doing dealt with my movie. So last episode I talked about kind of making sure I stayed healthy. So that was a little bit difficult because work-wise, with my regular work, there was kind of unexpected things coming in here and there, so I had to adjust and things like that. And so as far as other passion projects of mine, I had to solely focus on just what is the core essential, which was the film. And we started shooting over the weekend, which was great. A couple of big takeaways. We planned it in advance and things like that, but the nice part is when you do a film shoot, obviously there's the opportunity to kind of see something on the day of and utilize it. Other times, there was a couple times where, things weren't, maybe we forgot something or we didn't do a particular thing. And so we had to adjust kind of out of necessity rather than opportunity. And that's good too, because it kind of forces you in that way. No matter what obstacle kind of came our way, essentially we had fail-safes for everything. So, if there was a battery that we forgot, okay, well, maybe we can use another camera instead of that camera. And how do we make that camera work to pull off what we wanted to? So all these different things were kind of coming together. We were doing, on the first day, we were doing a lot of essentially B-roll, not B-roll necessarily, but it was one character we were tracking, so there was no dialogue necessarily, and there was a lot of locations we were filming, so we did a lot of walking around and things like that. And that was, we went from so many locations. We ended up even taking the metro, shooting in my apartment as one of the characters' places. So it was very exciting. It was a good day. It was a good way to start off the production. I always knew that I wanted to kind of ease into it a little bit, and it was the perfect way to do it where, we're shooting these things, we're tracking the character, but, we can get some cool shots, but if one of them doesn't work, that's okay. Second day, we did a lot more dialogue stuff. In fact, 4 major scenes in particular, in terms of dialogue. There's one with 2 main characters, then kind of relational characters and so forth. And I have to say, I texted the 2 primary actors that I worked with that day that rarely have I ever felt like that we captured what I wanted, whether it was because of cinematography, sound, or just performance. And in this particular moment, I look back on that day and we had gotten everything. It just blew my mind how amazing the performances were, how well those things worked, and how we choreographed it through the shooting of it, and also their performances. Just everything kind of came together. And, we're all, in a sense, we're all learning on this movie. We're all filmmakers by trade, but even just kind of, I like to shoot a lot of things documentary style, so we're just kind of going, we're as real time as it kind of gets. Second day we shot 14 pages, which is quite a bit, and that included a lot of moves, so meaning locations. So we were, I think, 5 locations in total, but it all worked out, and yeah, I'm very proud of, everyone learned a little bit something, and that's what I try to also do. I know we're shooting a movie, but whenever, sometimes actors don't always know about camera moves or how certain things are going to look and blah, blah, blah. So I always try to just give little nuggets to explain, okay, why we're doing something in a particular way so they understand. and I think that helps. And in fact, we did a shoot for the third day, and that was really cool because I had a very minimal crew. This was another instance. This was a different actor, but we were just in this character's apartment and had to get various. It was essentially two scenes, still kind of insert-y type stuff, where we're just tracking him and getting a lot of his thoughts and so forth. And one of my co-writers, Taylor Gates, she was involved, and I knew that and so it was just me and her in terms of the crew and one of the actors. And I knew that if I got her involved to do camera, it would go a lot faster. And one of the first things that I told her was, listen, if we shoot, if we shoot for 2 minutes and out of that you get 15 seconds of usable footage, that's already a victory, right? So, and by the end, she actually was really loving it. She loved the camera that I gave her. It was a Canon camera. It's relatively simple to use. She learned how to focus. She learned various things. And, by the end, she was composing shots that were just fantastic. So I really applaud her for that. And I love the confidence that she was able to gain. And so that's part of what I love about doing this, is that I think we're making something special. But we're also learning, we're not putting too much pressure on these things, and we're kind of figuring out as things happen. And, everyone's learning something. So that's really cool. The other really, this weekend overall was just an amazing weekend. On day 2, I came home with Anthony, and there was a bunch of Amazon boxes, for stuff later on down the line that we would need. And I opened one of the packages, and it was actually a physical copy of my nonfiction book, which is actually more of a course workbook than just a regular nonfiction self-help type thing. So it was really interesting to see, because for me, doing that book has always kind of unfortunately been a throwaway. It's just like, it makes sense to do it, and finally to see it in a physical form after essentially a year of hard work and writing those lessons. Excuse me, writing those lessons and making and wanting to not essentially take the lessons that I teach, but also really extract it in terms of how they can be applied to the reader, aka you, and having those kind of there's self-reflection moments, so where you get to physically pencil in or write in with a pen, how you're going to go about certain things. So that's why it really is more of a course book than just a standard book. So that was a very intimate moment of feeling proud. It's just, and I'm glad Anthony got to witness it. He almost kind of teared up in a sense of just seeing the joy on my face, and seeing, you never know kind of what it's going to fully look like. The physicality of the course book in my hand and whatnot, and the way it looked, the colors and the sections and so forth, it all just made sense and looked absolutely fantastic. So I'm very, very happy with it, very proud of it. And I got to develop the website, but it will be available at mastermentalfortitude.com. And then as far as anything else, I was just kind of making sure that I stayed on it, got enough rest, batteries were charged and things of that nature. But for some reason, kind of looking back on it, this weekend was really quite the perfect weekend. And it's not that this weekend was just, a standout weekend. It's everyone, and including myself, this was a culmination of a lot of efforts coming together. So, the joy that I felt was the tip of the iceberg, but underneath was all the hard work that each of us had done. And yes, sometimes, it just felt good to kind of honor that and feel that sense of joy and whatnot. So if you're in the midst of a lot of hard work and things like that, remember what you're kind of doing it for. Obviously, try to find a way to have joy in those moments, and I try to do that too. But this was a very special moment because the joy that I had felt in writing the script and planning out how this is all going to look and so forth, and to really see it come to fruition, that was the magic of it all. And simultaneously too, what was really interesting is I had other friends that were working on their creative aspects, and much in the same way that I saw the magic of these things culminate into actualization. Lauren Lagrasso, for example, who is a very dear friend of mine, she was getting that same experience. She was shooting a music video for one of her songs off her new album. So not only is it exciting that her album's going to be coming out, but the fact that she's shooting, that weekend, she shot the music video and whatnot. So it was really cool that all these things were happening simultaneously for each of us, and I'm very proud of that fact. I'm very proud of her. I'm very happy for her, and just the same way I continue to be happy for my friends. And one of the cool things is a lot of the people that I know that she also knows worked on her project as well. So just this kind of community of people coming together. In fact, a lot of people on Saturday, we needed various extras in very minor roles, like honestly probably like 10 seconds within the movie in terms of the screen time that they'll really receive in terms of for the work that they did. It was about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of their input, but I was very grateful to the people that came out to support this project, again, to be in 10 seconds of the movie essentially. So very, very thankful that I have friends that come through, but that only happens again because of the culmination of helping them out and being there for them when they need it most and so forth. So, or just being there even when they don't necessarily need it the most, just in general. So I'm very, very happy with the way things are going. We're off in terms of the shooting. We're off for this weekend and then back at it for the weekend after that. So I've got some downtime. I'm going to try to get ahead of various other work. Like I said, I have to make the website for mastermentalfortitude.com, which is going to be the website for the course book, as well as some other projects that I got to finish up. And I know part of it, like, because I was trying to not get sick, because I had to, work was kind of piling up in terms of like my day job. And I also wanted to make sure that I was focusing on the film. I didn't put out as many videos as, my goal is to put out a video every single weekday. I didn't do that. I do feel bad about that, but at the same time, one of the things that I appreciate where I'm at is that I give myself permission to kind of, it's okay, it's not the end of the world. And I know these videos bring value to people, but at the same time, it can cost me time, it can cost me money, but it can't necessarily cost me my happiness, and especially it can't cost me my health. So, so I didn't, I forgave myself for not coming through with that, and no regrets there. Anyway, these are some of the takeaways of last week, and I'm excited to share more. In terms of the lessons that I learned from the shoot, and as well as other stuff. So, if you have any questions or would like me to, just talk about a specific topic in the future, whether through this type of video or some of the more formal ones that I do, happy to do so. Just let me know in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you like the kind of content that I'm putting out, please do so. And also, lastly, if there's a friend that can also benefit from this type of stuff, let them know that I'm on here. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, and check out some of my other videos. Bye.